I'm going to turn a few moments over to Sheriff Snaza, who will make a few remarks. And after that, I will provide you guys with a summary of our investigation and answer any questions that you may have. Sheriff Snaza.
Good afternoon. I just want you all to know that our main goal is to bring Gabriel home to his family. And first and foremost, I want to thank all our partner agencies who have assisted in this investigation, to include Washington State Patrol Aviation Unit, the Olympia Police Department, the Washington State Parks, the Search and Rescue, who have been phenomenal, and obviously our citizens who have called in tips and assisted us in giving us information about possible locations. And I want you to know that we're working every angle we can to bring Gabriel home, so thank you very much.
I would also like to thank the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The FBI has several agents involved in assisting us with this investigation to this point. So yesterday at approximately 5 p.m., our deputies were dispatched to a suspicious vehicle at the 16,100 block of Tilley Road, which is just south of our location here. At that location, our deputies found a vehicle with items strewn about, a small amount of blood inside the vehicle, and a phone that had been shattered on the ground. We made contact with the registered owner of that vehicle, and they told us that their son, 16-year-old Gabriel, had that vehicle at the time, and he had been headed to football practice at Olympia High School at 4 o'clock when he was last seen. So since last night, our deputies and our detectives have been working every angle. We've utilized the FBI to help us analyze data related to cell phones and tracing the movements of Gabriel from his home to the location of the vehicle. This morning, we have received multiple tips, over half a dozen tips, with sightings of Gabriel on the Tilley Road area. All of those tips indicate that he was traveling northbound from the 16,100 block and that he was by himself at the time that he was seen. We have most recently received a tip that he had been seen entering Miller-Sylvania State Park. So at this point, we have not received any tips that would indicate Gabriel was in the presence of another individual, but we are still exploring every angle of this case because our ultimate goal is to bring Gabriel home to his family. Currently, we have all of our detectives working this incident. We have detectives from the Olympia Police Department, we have state parks, we have our search and rescue coordinator and ground searchers, as well as search dogs. And the Federal Bureau of Investigation is also helping us with canvassing. We will continue to work on this case and work every angle until we bring Gabriel home to his family. I want to encourage the public to please call in any tips that they may have. If anyone recalls seeing an individual walking down Tilley Road yesterday between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m., we'd really be interested in that location. Give it a moment for that plane to pass. We'd be really interested in hearing the information that they have to provide. We would also like to encourage the public to stay out of the Tilley Road area if possible. We are encouraged by the amount of support we're receiving from the public. However, while we do have search dogs and searchers in the area, it is important that we let them proceed through the area uninhibited. At a time when we feel it is necessary to involve the public in a ground search to bring in additional personnel, we will communicate that through our social media. Do you have any questions?
What was he wearing when he was last seen?
So he was last seen in a pair of basketball shorts and a jersey. And that's what we believe he was wearing when he left the vehicle.
Football jersey?
Football jersey.
Was it blue and white?
Yes, and the shorts were blue from our indication.
Any signs of injury? Did anyone think he was walking strangely or bleeding?
No, none of the tips provided indicated that he was injured in any way or in distress.
Say the state park again, the name.
Miller-Sylvania.
And he was seen last walking into that state park?
That's correct, and that is just on Tilley Road, just south of us as well.
Do you have any footage of that, like Ring doorbell?
So we have been canvassing the area and checking for residents that may have surveillance or Ring doorbells, but we have not found any footage of Gabriel yet.
And about what time was he seen walking to that park? And was that today or yesterday?
Yesterday. So all of the tips that we have received are between 5:30 p.m. and about 6:30 p.m. And we believe his vehicle came into the area just after 5.
A tip from down the road here where he was last seen.
Correct, at the 16,100 block.
Who did that come from?
So the vehicle was found on private property on a private drive off of Tilly Road. So the resident there came home from work and saw the vehicle in their driveway and called it in.
And then in the 15,000th block, that last sighting.
Correct, we've actually,
Where did that come from?
another passerby, they remembered seeing Gabriel as they passed by coming home from work yesterday.
And what was the northernmost point where it was built in Miller's Domain?
Correct.
The dogs have been working that area. Do we know that they found anything?
We are encouraged by the progress of the dogs. I haven't spoken with the handlers directly, but they have moved from that vehicle at the 16,000 block and moved forward north on Tilly Road.
On the cell phone data from the FBI's assistance, was he actively using his cell phone? Do we know who he was in contact with?
So we are currently analyzing that data, and the last known usage of that phone was at 5:10 p.m.
And any idea who he called? Or talked
So we're still going through that data at this point.
And what time did the initial call come in about the suspicious vehicle?
Just after 5:30.
And so in this time frame when he was last seen, did he communicate with any family or friends, or did any reports come in from family or friends seeing him, anyone who would know him?
So it wasn't until we contacted the family about the vehicle and its suspicious location that the family brought up that he was supposed to be. It was their belief that he was at football practice.
The final sightings of him were all by random people that
Correct.
he has no interaction with.
That's correct.
And what does that say? That people saw something and said something like we've always been talking about?
Well, without the public in cases like this, we would have very little to go off of. But we're encouraged by the number of tips that we've received and the consistency of those tips in their time frame, which tells us that we're heading in the right direction with this.
Can you clear this up? I had read that his vehicle or he was seen at Tilly Road at 88th Avenue, that there was some discrepancy, and that would be over here.
So I believe that information came from phone data accessed by the family prior to his us locating him. So that was misinformation that was being spread around. His vehicle was in fact located at the 16,100 block.
Does the family live on this side of the county, or are they closer to the high school?
The family lives in the city of Olympia.
So is there any reason within his path to the high school, any reason he would be down in this area?
Not to our knowledge.
Any criminal history or recent fights or threats or anything that the family has made you aware of?
Not to our knowledge. They were obviously very distraught, and they are still distraught to this point. And they're very working with us cooperatively and helping us locate their son.
Because he was wearing that jersey, was that what made him easy to pinpoint for the people that were passing by?
Not sure.
I had rather he was 17, so 16.
16 is the accurate age. I apologize.
Okay.
So he is 16 instead of 17.
That's correct.
So this doesn't seem like it should happen.
We are working every angle of this case, but to this point we have not been provided with any information that would lend us to believe that Gabriel was with anyone when he left that vehicle.
Do you believe he's in danger?
We have not received information that Gabriel is in danger, but he is 16 years old, and behavior is not characteristic of him. So we're very concerned, and his family is very concerned as well. So we're taking this very seriously.
And do you know anything about how the phone might have been broken or how he might have been injured? And is it his blood that was found in the car?
We are still analyzing that information.
So all indications, he was by himself when this happened, and there's nothing to corroborate whether he had an argument with someone, he had talked to someone prior, or anything that happened before.
Right. The information that we have thus far is that he drove to this location on his own, and he walked from the vehicle on his own. Yes, so we've been in contact with the school district, with the coach, with other members of the team as well. So
How's the school district doing? I mean, what have they been saying?
the school district's very concerned as well, but they reached out to us first thing this morning and offered any assistance that they could provide us.
Did we fly any WSP as a plane that had
Yes.
to-
Yes, so yesterday, right after the vehicle was located, the State Patrol Aviation Unit did fly over, and and use their FLIR to look for any heat signatures in the woods. And later in the evening, we actually use one of our unmanned aircraft to do the same thing, and with no results.
Can you talk about those dogs? What kind of dogs? What's their purpose? What do they do?
So I believe the dogs that we have out currently are bloodhounds, and they're meant to track people, and they can track people much longer after the fact than some of our tracking dogs, our patrol tracking dogs do. So that's their purpose, is to find missing people, and that's what they're doing here today.
What's the timeline on the search? How long will they be out there? Will they come back tomorrow? What does this look like in the
So
future?
we will have to come together at the conclusion of this day to see where we're at with progress and address if we need to continue and maybe adjust our methods.
Mainly searching around the entrance of that state park there. Would you go into the state park?
Absolutely, and we have the rangers from the state park here with us to assist in that as well.
Where was the phone found? Was it, you said the phone was shattered, right? Was it in the truck or outside?
Outside the truck, near the truck though.
How much blood was around? Was it little, like somebody cut their finger on the smashed phone, or was it like a lot?
Not prepared to discuss that at this point.
But it appeared recent. It wasn't.
That's correct.
And I guess, I mean, people calling it might seem out of the ordinary from where the vehicle was found to the last known sighting. It's a hard road to walk on, and it's like a 45-minute walk. I mean, it's a considerable distance. So, is that worrying at all, or where does that fall into kind of the investigation?
Well, it isn't common to see individuals walking down this road. There's very little shoulder. And so I think that's why it's sticking out to so many people, is because as they're traveling down this road with very little shoulder, they see an individual walking close to the side of the road. So hopefully with this information, this jogs the memory of some other individuals that may have been traveling on Tilley Road, and hopefully that they can provide us with additional information to help us solidify our timeline.
Anything else you want to say, or anything the family would want to put out there, or anything else like that?
No, I'm sure the family would echo our sentiments that we just want Gabriel home. And if anybody has information that could assist us in that, please contact our dispatch at 360-704-2740. And we will be more than happy to follow up on any tip that we are provided with.
Was missing practice a commonplace for him, or is this unusual?
This behavior is unusual for Gabriel.
Is there anything to indicate this is something other than a runaway?
Well, we have to look at the behavior of an individual and a pattern of behavior, and this is uncharacteristic of Gabriel. So that is why we are taking it so seriously, and we're not going to push this aside as a runaway. We want to treat this seriously and explore every tip and avenue and to make sure that we bring Gabriel home safely.
So just from what you've heard, living a seemingly normal teenage high school life
That's correct.
happens.
Yes.
And who was part of the search and rescue? Is it just you guys, or who else is?
So our coordinators coordinate that search, but there are several groups that are involved in the search and rescue, different groups that we call in to assist us with that. Does anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, when you talk to the football team and the coaches, like what happens when they miss a practice? Is there a concern? Are they like, oh, well, they're just absent today, or do they check in? Or?
I haven't had that discussion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
How long was it since when he took off with the pickup to where his family was notified?
So every indication is that he left his home around 4 o'clock to attend football practice. His vehicle was found here around 5:30, and his family was contacted at that time. Yes. All right. If there's no more questions, that'll be it. Thank you.
Thank you.